Hello again. It's July in the UK and it's hot. Your question for reflection. What saboteurs are on the loose in your territory and how good are your defences against them? You've probably come across the term fifth column, but do you know where it originated? No, it's not a phrase drawn from the print media, but a term attributed to Emilio Mola Vidal, a nationalist general during the Spanish Civil War of 1936 to 1939. As part of his strategic plan to capture the Spanish capital, Vidal had 4 columns of troops advancing on Madrid, and he said another column, a fifth column, of people living inside the city ready to join the invaders as soon as they enter the capital. Fifth column has come to describe those forces which work to undermine their targets by exploiting fears, spreading rumours and misinformation, and by using techniques of espionage and sabotage. Fifth columnists, saboteurs if you like, disrupt infrastructure, prevent resources from being delivered where needed, and lead to cuts in supply lines. They undermine the success of decision making, and through their insidious infiltration represent an ever-present, latent and hidden threat to the societies they target. Applied on a personal and professional level, this is a powerful image which can be the basis of many valuable insights. What saboteurs are on the loose in your territory, seeking to undermine your ability to succeed? In his book, Growing Leaders, James Lawrence identifies 5 reasons why leaders fail to realise their potential or simply abandon their positions. Whilst focusing on challenges faced by leaders in Christian ministry, his work, informed as it is by a broad study of modern leadership approaches, has wider relevance. 3 of his reasons for failure are burnout, where leaders collapse under the stress of overload, dropout, where they lose vision and focus, and fallout, when they fail to address issues of character. Behind each of these reasons for failure are self-defeating behaviours which develop out of repeated unhelpful decisions or by people believing lies about themselves. These lies and behaviours are like units of a fifth column at work within your personal defences and professional territory, which, if left unaddressed, could inhibit your progress or even scupper your career. And whilst each unit has its own tactics, weapons and targets, they have one fundamental approach in common: to infiltrate your world and to become so much a part of it that you don't see them at work until it's too late to neutralise them. What saboteurs are on the loose in your territory and how good are your defences against them? The first unit to be alert to is the burnout crew. Their objective is to so overload your capacity that you're no longer able to function in the area of responsibility you were recruited to fulfill. The burnout crew target your great strengths of diligence, commitment and capacity for hard work and overload them at the physical, emotional, psychological and social level. The burnout crew will avoid the obvious tactic of presenting you with a substantial new task or area of responsibility. You'd be able to see straight away that would be inconsistent with your other priorities. They're far more subtle. This fifth column will slowly add additional tasks and responsibilities which, at the time they present themselves, will seem reasonable and manageable in isolation. But they are like saboteurs attacking your energy infrastructure, siphoning off power, while simultaneously reducing the capacity of your generators. One way to identify the burnout crew is to do your own energy audit. Look out for those apparently small tasks that leave you de-energised, which always take longer than you anticipated or which refuse to resolve themselves however often you return to them. And you may need to challenge and expose the propaganda of the burnout crew. Is it really true that these tasks are essential? Is it true that there is no one else, apart from you, who can deal with them to an acceptable standard? And what's the hidden agenda that the burnout crew is trying to keep you from? If you spent less time on these energy sappers and had capacity to divert and invest elsewhere, what more important activity would you be giving yourself to? Is it time to revisit your priorities and again ask the question, in my area of responsibility, what does success really look like? The burnout crew are highly skilled and very smart. Is it time to show them how much smarter you are? The second group of skilled saboteurs to be aware of are the distraction burglars. Their objective is to so steal your vision for professional success that you remain in post, apparently fulfilling your role, whilst in practice directing most of your professional energy elsewhere. Success for the distraction burglar is to create, within you personally, or within your team more widely, a culture of presenteeism. Your physical body is in your workplace, but your mind and your soul are somewhere else. James Lawrence gives the example of a church leader with responsibility for several churches who was spending most of his time developing his psychotherapy practice. Statistically, this leader was a post holder in a leadership position. In practice, they had long since given up this role. But it's not just in church settings that the distraction burglars ply their trade. I've personally seen examples of people who took up short-term development opportunities which so enticed them that the time they invested in it was to the severe detriment of their essential duties. Much as they might have liked to pursue this sideline permanently, either they couldn't because there was no full-time job available, or chose not to, since leaving their current post would involve a loss of prestige or salary. The distraction burglar had succeeded in stealing job satisfaction from an individual, unable to fulfill their career or job aspirations. They'd stolen from the organisation, as it continued to pay someone for a job they weren't doing, and they stole an opportunity for talent development for another colleague by impeding the chance for someone to throw themselves wholeheartedly into a role. How much are you in danger of being the victim of a distraction burglar? One way of addressing this is through an independent career review. With appropriate help, you may yet be able to fulfill your career ambitions. How could a review of your main employed role make it more satisfying and fulfilling? Many people genuinely make positive career changes for perfectly good reasons. But victims of distraction burglars can come to realise that they've been seduced by negative propaganda, telling them they aren't good enough for their job or that they will never fulfil the vision they had for it when they took it on. Sometimes an independent and objective conversation is what you need to get to the truth of the matter. Think of it like hiring your own private detective to undertake a personal security review. Career choices matter to you, your employer, and to your colleagues. Take control of your own decisions and don't be seduced by distraction burglars. The burnout crew want you to burn out and the distraction burglars want you to drop out. But what of the third unit invested in your fallout? Well, that will have to wait for my next video. For now, reflect on the main question in the light of the two examples I've given. What other saboteurs are you aware of? Over the last 18 months, you'll have been working hard to design and build defences against many obvious external threats. Is it now time to review your defences against less visible and insidious threats to you, your colleagues, your teams, and your career? To expose the saboteurs on the loose in your territory and to strengthen your defences against them.